that the wannabe, and
yeah.
I won't go any farther there. I've run into that, and we've been around that, so which makes it a lot more difficult. But I don't think we're going to. Can't throw it away either. So
that's right.
There's so much information out now about things that just about anybody could be abducted. That's the sad part. But for the people that have real experiences and real problems, I mean, it's something that needs to be progress needs to be made on.
Well,
that's right.
Let me jump in here, Mary, as well as that. What has your experience been, Mary, with people that can be regressed or hypnotized, let's say, and people that can't be hypnotized? Is that does it go either way sometimes?
Well, most people can enter some level of trance state. Some people easily go into a deep trance. Other people go into a lighter trance, and you can get results in any form of trance. But it seems to be a process because the memories are buried for a reason. Either your own subconscious is protecting you from painful memories, or there's been some kind of a mental block put on by the ETs. And so it's kind of a process, and I understand that most people, have to go through repeated sessions, and slowly their truth comes out, their story builds. And part of that is, like I say, because of the blocks, and the other part is just getting comfortable with the concept of accepting this as a reality and getting comfortable with whatever hypnotherapist you're working with. And it's a process, and usually people can recall at least a partial memory during the first session, and going further, they can build on that. And some people don't get anything, and that's fine, because the way I see it is, if it's not meant to come forward for you, it's not going to come forward for you, and that's to protect you. So that's been my experience.
Well,
and Timothy also mentioned, Mary, that as a young person, he had amazing premonitory dreams, I guess you would call them, right, Timothy?
Yep, premonitions.
In other words,
acute.
He has a very acute percentage of some of these dreams coming true, I understand. And that seems to be very fascinating when you're dealing with hypnotherapy as well.
Yeah, you can go to a dream scenario. Once you're in trance, you can go into a dream scenario and take it further. Work back further into the dream, because how it is when you wake up from a dream, and you'll remember parts of it, but not necessarily all of it, unless you immediately write it down when you wake up. Now, prophetic dreams are I think those are a completely different class of dreams. I did do a lot of study in the dreaming mind and dream work, working with your dreams, and there are different kinds of dreams, like house cleaning dreams, which are just kind of like clearing the clutter out of your mind, and then there's dreams where your mind is working on a problem that presented itself during the day and is still kind of rolling around in your head. But the prophetic dreams are something different, and I don't think there's a lot known about them, but I would say if you're having dreams and you remember them strongly and they're coming true, it would be like any other form of like clairvoyance and prophecy. That is a lot of people can foretell what's going to happen in a waking state, and we just refer to them as psychics. And of course, there's, prophets throughout our history. And I think it's just something, it's an ability. It's a special ability that some people are tapped into. And so it sounds like Timothy is one of those people.
And Timothy, would you be willing to share one or two or whatever prophetic?
Well, I could probably, I can go there just a little bit. I don't, it's most like not remember it when I get up. That was always the tricky part, is why I remembered it that way and how I remember it that way. It was, I deja vu into something, because there'd be something in the dream that I was supposed to remember and subconsciously, and then when it happened to me, then, boom, you'd kind of, everything would start, you'd start realizing, been here before, and you'd think about it. And it really wasn't so much you get the date or the hour. I always kind of chuckled that in a sense, because when I was younger, it was very common. As I've got older, it's kind of faded. My memory probably not as good. And of course, when I was younger, it was to know things and then do things. It kind of probably affected the way I think and do things. But and realizing that that's going to happen, you're going to be down there. But it really wasn't always showing up. And but the one thing, my dreams were not everything or whatever, but usually what was going to happen to me. And now that I'm the patriarch of my family, so to speak, now, and the oldest, one of the main things that would happen to me when my younger days and youngers is I got to go to a lot of funerals twice. And, sometimes these things would happen, and I'd know of them 2 or 3, 4 days in advance. And, of course, get up a little and be a little disturbed, but then it'd kind of fade away, and then it'd come back around, you'd be there, and it was, it's just an interesting thing. And,
well, that is...
Probably bothered me most of my... This has bothered me most of my life. It's pretty tough because, and they all showed up in little different manners. Some things, sometimes you'd be involved, and sometimes I wouldn't be involved, in a way. But showing up and, having, certain people would be there, and you just wonder how them things. But that was, of course, like I said, I could have oddball things, especially when I was younger, showing up and doing this. Going to school the next day, and really led me to be a student because, hey, you're sitting here, and all of a sudden it started dawning what's going to start happening, and down the road, here it come,
Yeah.
I probably didn't, of course, back when I was, in the 50s and 60s, I kind of towing the line, and then, and then having that innate sense of knowing things, but you really don't know exactly why you know that in a way. That was just like my realizing that I had an alien implant in my body. Back in my youth, when I'm growing up, my one grandmother that I knew, she went to a mental hospital, finally figured out what for, because there was a very traumatic incident that happened earlier before I was born that, very upsetting for her, and I won't completely go into it. But, I'm aware of this, and then as I'm growing up, I'm thinking, well, is she kind of like me, and I really don't want to end up in a mental institution for a couple of years or whatever. I was a fear that I had when I was younger, and it's still, and I remember that well now that I've got a little older, and things have come down the pike, and seeing how some things happen, and remembering them.
Yeah.
But to get to my implant, that we were talking,
Go ahead.
The greatest precognitive dream I ever had was about April the 4th of 1978, and I dreamed of rolling a car 5 times, breaking my neck in the process, and getting out of this vehicle with my neck broken, paralyzed in the arms, and walking up out of the ditch with the help of my friend that was with me, and getting to a station wagon, touching this car, and starting losing my legs, and ended up to being taken to the hospital in the back of this station wagon, paralyzed from the neck down. And on April the 9th, that's exactly what happened to me. But I knew what was going to happen 5 or 10 minutes before I even, but I'm trying to figure it out. And then boom, then it would happen, and then everything came down the pike. And then when I'm in the hospital after my accident, I'm on morphine, and I had a lot more happen to me along these lines when I was in the hospital for over the next couple of days, recuperating because I had to take my appendix out. Well, I cracked a couple of vertebrae, shattered one, bruised my spinal cord, and I was paralyzed from the neck down for 3 days, and I've survived. And but I kind of knew about a little bit of it. I knew, and then when I'm in the hospital, I had a lot more things happen to me along these lines, and it's like I said, but this was it. And that's why I had the implant in my body, and it was probably functioning, and it would be causing me some problems, but I didn't realize it was an implant, until the situation came up. But that was the most amazing thing that ever happened to me, and it's had a profound effect on me. And doesn't ever think I'm not grateful, and I want to do a lot of things, but that was one of them. I mean, like I said, I've just had these things happen to me, and
well, Timothy, let me ask you this, because these premonitions, these dreams that you've had, have they subsided or gotten more?
Well, my memory isn't what I used to be. So,
yeah.
I think I'm having, but I don't remember them as well. My memory's not as good for some reason. I think that's I think that's part of my fatigue issue. My having fatigue now is causing me a problem in that general area.
Yeah,
kind of remember just real good. Now, like I said, I won't be. When I met Daryl Sims, I had a premonition about it, and then boom, it came true, and I'm down there because I can see it. But it took me a couple seconds longer after it happened to really deja vu that, whoa, you were there, than than back when I was younger, if you get my understanding. So, yeah, they're still happening. Do I remember them? No, I don't. Do I wake up saying, "Oh no, that's going"? No, it's not. Doesn't work that way. It's the event starts happening, and then I get to piece that time frame together that I got to see. That's the way it is. I've always wondered why it worked that way. And there was a couple other things that happened to me in passing of friends. One of them that finally showed me a sense of humor, and I'm saying, well, it's a date. Well, they got a date. Well, I had one friend that passed away, and we happened to take a picture, and I remember when we took it many years ago, and bingo, it shows up, and they were both taken on the same day. That picture and his funeral were both on the same day, and I'm looking at this picture, and I was wondering why, when the picture was taken, that I had an oddball feeling, and there was a couple other, it's just little things like that. Now, I don't know why. I'm not here to, I don't have the answers, all I got is the question, so to speak.
Well, definitely. Matter of fact, Mary, I don't know if you heard earlier, but Timothy was saying that since he got the implant removed by Dr. Leer, that he has suffered from some fatigue that he can only explain maybe due to the fact that this implant was taken out.